Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Ty.
And I'm Nick, and we're here at A+ Auto Styling.
This is my 2008 Widebody LS swapped S2000. I have a career in the petroleum industry. We do everything from the mechanical as well as IT side of petroleum. So whether it is fixing drive-offs at a pump, or whether it is interfacing tank monitors and loading software on commanders. Pretty much anything and everything related to gas stations, related to gas in general.
That's what you do?
That's what I do.
Alright, well, what I do is not as cool as that.
It's not that cool.
I work at a tint and vinyl shop. It's called A+ Auto Styling. Started off originally just tinting windows a few years ago. I worked for the original owner, and since then he has sold the business to me, and that's when I really started getting to the whole vinyl world, vinyl wrapping full cars, doing color changes in that sense. And I just thought it was cool because before I started getting into the vinyl wrap, I thought the only way to change the color of your car was to paint it. So I mean, that's a pretty permanent solution. I know Ty always painted his car a lot. Once I found out that I can, change the color of my car without having to sand everything down, without having to do all that stuff, I was definitely intrigued by it. And Ty is always going to be a diehard paint fan. I respect that. You can't expect everyone to like vinyl, but I think being in the aftermarket, I guess, customization industry is pretty neat. It's pretty cool seeing what is evolving, what the new trends are going to be next year, seeing the new colors coming out, seeing what people are doing on 2016 cars. I don't know, it's just awesome being inside the industry and seeing kind of firsthand of everything that comes out first. But yeah, we just do tint vinyl and make stickers.
I bought the car June 25th of 2011. It was a 2008 model year, base S2000. I wanted something that not a lot of people had. A lot of people have Evos, STIs, M3s, but I wanted something that no one really had around me, at least, and for me that was the S2000. Overall, I had a huge case of buyer's remorse when I first bought it and really wasn't happy with it. But then I found out about the Sean Auto Project hardtop, and everything just evolved from there. My first mods was function informed Type 2 coilovers, a respray, and the Sean Auto Project hardtop. The actual respray itself was a spur of the moment 24-hour respray. I was down at my friend Tim's shop late one Friday night, and we decided that I don't like the color red. So from there, we started sanding it down. Didn't remove any paneling originally, just kind of sanded everything down as is. And then from there, took in the paint booth, taped it off, and then the following day, resprayed it to Telesto Gray. How many colors have I gone through? I could probably count on both hands. It was originally Telesto Gray, then it went to Safest Blue, then it went Signal Green, then it went back to Telesto Gray, then to RS Gray, then to Telesto Gray again. So that's a good 7 colors.
If you count Telesto Gray 4 times, I mean, sure.
Probably a good 8 if you count New Formula Red as a stock color. In my opinion, Telesto Gray is the perfect shade of gray. It has just enough purple and just enough green, so under certain lighting, it can go from anywhere from a blue, purplish hue to more of a green hue. During the daylight, it's a nice light gray, and at night, it's a nice dark gray. LS swap, that's a really good question. I could say all day long, that I did a lot of aesthetic changes to the car, and eventually just get tired of changing the color or changing the body kit or changing the ride height or all that. But honestly, probably what it was I went through a breakup back in 2013, and I needed something to occupy my time, so ended up doing an engine swap. Bought the engine, sold my stock F22 and trans to a good friend, and honestly from there it just kept evolving. Originally it was just supposed to be an LS1 and T56 combo, and then after that it went from a semi-built LS1 and T56 to what it is today. The swap took me overall probably 2 years, said and done. Originally I had a LS1 out of the 2000 CAMARO, and that came from a wrecked CAMARO. Not really sure the whole history behind it, but it had a lot of issues. The starter boss cracked off on the engine stand. Thanks to Janky.
Didn't the transmission break off the original motor? You got it?
Yeah, it was, rumor has it that it was involved in a pretty serious crash, a wreck, and that the actual trans separated from the starter, or from the actual engine. I guess that caused some undue stress on the starter boss, and on the engine stand, actually flipping it over, that was the first thing that broke.
Janky ass engine stands.
It snapped clear off the block, had that tigged, and then after that I was doing a head job on it, and no coolant in the bolt holes, nothing, but obviously buy these GM tortilla bolts, so it's the last bolt, the last pass, the last hole, and it just keeps spinning, and turn that ended up blowing a chunk out of the block. So after the block broke, you know, I was actually in between jobs. So I remember I I had like $40 in my checking account. I went and bought a 6-pack. You know, didn't want to dip into my savings. Was really depressed, really down because, you know, I spent pretty much, you know, most of what I made, you know, the past year towards the swap, and just to have the whole swap just take a massive shit on you, I ended up spending, you know, I don't know, $20 on a 6-pack and, you know, some like vodka shots. But I ended up meeting somebody down there, got in with a new job, and in turn bought a new block. Bought a short block from Chris McCarthy at Wiring Specialties. That was in his 350Z. And after that, pretty much, you know, built it. Put some 799 heads on it, LS6 intake manifold, an ECS giant cam, Lunati dual valve springs, Manley push rods. A good bit of stuff. Pretty much, you know, all in all, heads, cam, intake on an engine. Did that. Kept the T56 I had, which is out of a 04 GTO. GTO T56s, for those that don't know, have Z06 internals. So they're built a little bit beefier. Put it in, and then we're pretty much golden from there. The body of the second build, we reshaved the bay. That was one thing that honestly always bothered me from the first time around. You know, when you're shaving a bay, you use, you know, a good amount of Bondo, you know, some metal plates, you know, need be, you know, epoxy here and there, but a lot of it was more so Bondo. So the second time around, we actually ground out a lot of the Bondo, and actually had metal plates cut by my friend Zach Watson. Pretty much put those in, tacked them where need be, epoxy around it, Bondoed, and it just made for overall just a really clean, more sturdy, just kind of foolproof bay. Convertible top. So I was never a fan of the S2000 because it was a convertible. That's going to generate probably a lot of questions, but I think the car, in my opinion, looks a lot better as a fastback. Just overall, I think the convertible top takes away from what the car is. I know that's going to sound really weird saying that, but
I think it's pretty biased opinion. Ty has always had a hard top on his vehicle, so I don't think he can really enjoy the convertible when he needs to, because he just can't take the top off real quick. My personal experience, hard top ruins any S2000. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I've known Ty for 5 years, and he's always had a hard top on his car, and I've never driven in his car with a hard top off of it. Just changes the whole car. Just doesn't even feel like a convertible anymore. It just feels like a hard top S2000.
a Civic Coupe.
Not a Civic Coupe. Not that. Since I've known Ty, I think the car has just progressively gotten more clean. He's paid more attention to detail. When I first met him, you could definitely tell he just wanted to get the car on the road and get it out to that, you know, the next meet that night. So I think over the last 2 years, he has really focused more on the little stuff, the little details. You know, making sure everything's fitting right, you know, making sure everything's running good and not just coming out just to say he's out. So I think that's probably the biggest change I've noticed being friends with Ty, which is really cool because when I first met him, you know, I always loved the car, but there was always things here and there that he just didn't really care too much about. But I'm glad that it's finally all solid. It's all I mean, in my opinion, I think it's 10 out of 10. Paint job's all perfect. Everything matches. Everything's good. I think that's probably the biggest change since I've met Ty. If I could change one thing about Ty's car, he knows what it is. Probably two things. If I owned Ty's S2000, I would immediately rip the hardtop off. First thing, like ASAP. I wouldn't even drive it home with the hardtop on.
Why, dude?
B, I would immediately contact like CCW or like VR Wheels or like 91 Forged up in PA. Someone who can make a wheel that is not replicating another wheel, and I would buy them. So first thing, I would even sell the hardtop to buy real wheels. That's what I would do. So that's probably the only thing I would do. Otherwise, I drive in the car. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it drives. I love the way it feels. You know, obviously, putting a big motor in it's going to throw the weight off a little bit. You know, probably doesn't handle as great as it used to, which, you know, I don't think is going to affect Ty in any way, considering he dailies it and he's not tracking it or you know, anything like that. But it definitely picks up. I mean, otherwise, I love the way the car drives mechanically. But yeah, there's probably only two things I would change about it. Well, I think it's actually pretty funny how all this started. The internet following was kind of a very long, gradual process. A lot of people on the internet who build, you know, cars that no one's ever seen before. They've done things no one's ever seen before. Their cars usually blow up overnight. You know, you didn't really hear about them last year. You know, they might have had the car last year, but, you know, whatever they did that past season really changed the car, and, you know, enough for everyone to recognize it. I think over the last 4 or 5 years, me and Ty anyway, has had the same car. I've had 2 cars since then. I just think it's been a real gradual increase. I don't think either of us do anything for likes or follows or, you know, people's acceptance for our cars. You know, I think we just build our cars how we want it, make us happy. At the end of the day, we don't give a crap who says what about our cars. And if, you know, you don't like it, then you probably don't like us. And, you know, if you don't like us because of our cars, then, you know, it's kind of, you know, messed up. But at the end of the day, you know, if a lot of people like our cars, then I really can't control the way people follow us. But I think we both have grown a lot. When we first started, basically the uprise of everything started at photo shooting Ty's car for Stance Nation. I think was probably the biggest, where both of us really started. Me so more in the photography world, and that really got Ty's car out online and everything. So I think after I shot Ty's car for Stance Nation, that was like May 2013 or something. I think that kind of both put our names out there, and from that point out, we just kind of got, I guess, a taste of what the internet can do and how far things can travel, and, you know, the people you can meet and talk to that live thousands of miles away, and people that are interested in your build, people that aren't interested in your build. You know, you get to hear everyone's opinions. So whether it's good or not, I think it's, you know, it's, you just got to deal with it. You just got to take it as is.
I'll say, yeah, I think one thing that, you know, really got, you know, I guess Nick out there was, you know, I mean, Nick's always done, you know, photography, and he's always been really good at it, you know, despite being colorblind, which I don't think a lot of people know. But you know, he's always been really good at photography, and I think that, you know, one thing that kind of, you know, was an opening or an outlet for both of us was the Stance Nation feature, and I actually think that was 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have been even longer,
but
a long time ago.
You know, I think that you know, that kind of right there kind of put things in motion. But, you know, I mean, in regards to, you know, e-fame or, you know, internet followers, you know, I really don't pay too much attention to that. You know, because, you know, you're always going to have something, or somebody's always going to have something that, you know, you want or you like. You know, I just think that, you know, one thing that, you know, if anything gets annoying is more so, you know, everyone has an opinion and everyone thinks their opinion matters. At the end of the day, you know, this car, I didn't build it for, you know, anyone. I built it for myself. And, you know, I'm truly 100% happy with it. You know, you have things you can change here or there on a daily basis. But, you know, you'll have people that comment or that like or that, you know, just in general want to talk about your car. I think that, you know, the whole, you know, the following, it really doesn't mean much to me. I don't really think it means much to, you know, either of us, to be honest.
No.
It's more so just, we're doing what we want. We're showcasing what we want. And along the way, if people like it, that's that. It's funny that, you see when I first... this was pre-S2K ban. No one would ever cut their quarters up. That's what it was. Everyone bashed me for cutting my quarters, for hacking my quarters, said I ruined a car. I totaled it. But at the end of the day, in my eyes, it's a Honda. S2000, whatever you want to call it, it's a Honda. And, come 2012, 2013, everyone and their mother are running cut quarters, wide body, wings, that Liberty Walk-esque kind of feel. So, in a sense, it's kind of a compliment to, I think everything that, everyone that, I guess have thought outside the box is done. But, yeah, E-fame, followers, likes, it doesn't really matter. My build has taught me.
I'll answer that question for
Yeah,
Ty.
there we go.
Since I met Ty, when I very first met Ty, he was pretty knowledgeable about the automotive scene. Not any more than I was, which is almost nothing as well. We're mainly about the aesthetics, how things sit, how aggressive it looks, wide, angry, looking, just all that stuff. So, I don't think either of us were really ever mechanically inclined, but I've noticed over the past 2 years, ever since Tyler started his swap, and really digging into everything as far as the heads, the harnesses, just everything about the LS motor. I think he's really learned a lot, and that's just from a third-person point of view. You can just really tell when he has a problem now. He can self-diagnose it. He knows where the problem is. He knows what he needs to do to fix it. If he doesn't, he has tons of help. He knows where to go and get the problem solved right away. I think when I first met Ty, not only did he have the stock motor, but he wasn't even really interested in doing any cold air intake or any small little mods like that. So shit, he kept his stock exhaust on for 4 years and thought that was cool. So now it's just cool to see his car just be badass and him actually know about it, him be a part of the build, him know what was into it, how everything was put together. I just think he learned a lot in the last 2 years doing the swap.
Honestly, I think one thing that I did, and Grant, I think that my car has been the joint effort of 5 friends. Whether it was Tim of Industry Garage making the flares, my friend Greg, doing all the welding, painting, my friend Alex doing the engine work, and then me doing all the wiring. Maybe 5 or less friends, I'm not really sure. But I think that I learned just a great deal about just how everything works in unison. I think it's going to be kind of almost reverted back to the Fast and the Furious days. Honestly,
I'm gonna go with Ty on that one.
It's a lot of livery.
A lot of livery, neon lights. We've been seeing a lot of neon lights coming back. We've been seeing a lot of shit. I just wrapped my BMW Chameleon. That's ricey as hell. Totally 1990s. I think, now that Ty said that, I definitely think the 90s is gonna make a comeback come 2016, 2017. And I only think that because back then people didn't give a shit. I think between 2000, between early 2000 and 2010, people started to really think and care about other people's opinions. And I think we've kind of broken that point again where you just don't give a shit. Just do what you want. If if it looks ricey as hell but you're happy, then fucking do it.
Bags.
Alright, this is a great debate. And I'm going to be the head of it because...
Finished.
Let me say one thing real quick. Alright. I had a friend once that said, dude, get bags. You can air up if you see something on the road. After he said that, he comes in the shop the next day with a fucked up bumper because he hit a tire on the highway. So,
You can't air up that fast. So now you're like,
what does that
thinking
mean?
you air up.
What does that mean?
Alright, I'll break it down very easy for you. Bags are for people who want to preserve their investment. Coilovers are for people who want to drive at a low height. That's it. Period. If you drive on coilovers because you think driving on coilovers is cooler or harder or you get more respect, that's not true. You're just going to fuck your car up more than it normally would be. If you're content with having scraped up bumpers, possible buckled fenders, possible holes in your exhaust, ruining the underside of your car, coilovers are a great route to go. You know, it's one solid height. You don't have to worry about lines. You don't have to worry about shit freezing. You don't have to worry about different pressures and heights and stuff. But when you have bags, you just noticeably always have a cleaner car. Zach Z has been on bags for the last year, and I don't think there's a single blemish or scrape really anywhere on the car.
You just drug it around the road today.
Well, I can do that. See, that's the luxury I have. I can drive low if I want.
I think at the end of the day,
It's just
people
not that
look at
stiff.
coilovers as, if you're on coilovers, you have more balls than who's on bags.
That's
And I
exactly
think-
what it is.
And
That's
I
what
think that
matters.
is fucked up because I went from Broadway Static, I had Broadway Statics coilovers, sold them, got D2 air suspension, sold them, went back to Broadway Static, and I love them. I think if you don't plan on going all the way on the ground, bags are the best route to go. I don't think you'll ever be able to mimic bag fitment with coilovers as much as people hashtag coilover bag fitment. No, you'll never be as low as you are on bags. It's just impossible unless you're in Japan and your roads are 8,000% flat. But in America, in the States, the roads are fucked no matter where you go. And if you ride on coilovers, you're just setting yourself up for a long, dreary road ahead. You constantly have to look on the road. You gotta constantly avoid shit. Gotta constantly worry about braking shit. When you're on bags, it just kind of eases your mind. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You can drive your car like a normal car. When you get where you need to go, you're pretty much guaranteed to not have anything broken. At the same time, you might pop a bag, you might pop a line. So I think both routes have their pros and cons, but I think at the end of the day, it's nothing about money. I don't think if you're on coilovers, you know, it's not because you didn't have money for bags. If you have bags, you know, you're not any more rich than someone on coilovers. I think at the end of the day, it boils down to, you know, do you want to drive around all day on the ground and fuck your shit up, or do you want to, you know, present your car at shows and events, you know, in perfect, pristine condition, and you know, really showcase the car itself. I do think cars on coilovers get a little bit more respect. You know, if you're driving to a show, you know, 1,000 miles on coilovers on the ground, people are going to be fender the lip fitment on coilovers. You know, people are just going to generally respect that more than, you know, if you drove to a show all the way aired up. I don't think there's really anything around that. You know, that's what it is. And, you know, the people on bags that ride low, kudos to you. If you have a nice system, you can ride low. Be my guest. Otherwise, I think it's just personal preference.
I always heard that people that hate on bags, myself included, are people that can't afford them.
That is not true. That is not true. Anybody can afford bags. It's just, and honestly,
It's preference. It's all preference.
it is.
It's all preference.
You know, Nick's kind of biased, or Nick's not biased. He's had both, but
He has had both.
I mean, he only went coilovers this time because he had to.
I couldn't run all the camber with bag
Truth comes
suspension, so at the end of the day, coilovers aren't always the best route. In my situation, they were the best route because my previous bag setup,
Because his wheels didn't fit.
they weren't slim bags. They were very big, bulky bags, got in the way. They were hitting chassis, hitting the back of the wheel. So in that situation, I just said, you know what, coilovers going to be the better route in this, you know, and what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to achieve. So, you know, sell the bags, get coilovers, and I haven't really had any problems since. Awesome brand coilovers, Broadway Static. Jay's helped me out, got me the first set of McPherson style coilovers for the M3, and I couldn't be any more happy. I don't think I'd ever go back on air suspension unless my goal was to make my car 100% show ready no matter where it goes. And I don't think unless you invest a lot of time and money, then that's really worth it. I don't know. Yeah, personal preference, honestly. Just boils down to, do you want to keep your shit fresh or you want to fuck your shit up?
That was a really long response.
I've been waiting years to let that out.
I think one thing that a lot of people think that half the people should honestly give a fuck less about is their opinion. I think at the end of the day, what you do to your car is what you genuinely want to do to your car. Whether it is modding it strictly for aesthetics, whether it is modding it strictly for performance, whether it is modding it for a combination of both, it is what you want, and that is what matters. if you go on Instagram, if you go on Facebook, if you go on Beam, if you go on half these fucking social media pages, a lot of people think, hey, I don't like that car. And instead of just,
Scrolling past, ignoring it,
they decide they need to comment, And I've had people, comment about my car. Too bad they can't use the tack. Dude, I don't give a fuck about using the tack. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but I don't give a shit about 8 grand redline. Let it rev to 6. I don't fucking care. It's what I want. It's my car. It's what I like. It's what I paid for.
How
it's
many people actually
time
redline in S2000s anyway,
Honestly, probably everyone and their mother when they crash it because it has insane bumps near. I don't fucking know.
Everyone died.
So, it's about what you want. What you like. It's not about, I didn't build my car to please fucking, 6, 7, 8, 10 other people. I fucking built it. I built it to fucking,
If you build your car to simply upload pictures online,
you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
You're doing it for the wrong reasons. I think if you build your car and you walk out and see your car every day and it puts a smile on your face, then you're doing it right. And it doesn't matter who the fuck says what about your car. I think the worst thing someone could do in the automotive scene is build a car strictly for attention and what other people want. I think if you're building a car to showcase your personality and just your creativeness, I think goes a lot more than, getting 30 sponsorships and tossing on a bunch of parts you don't like just, for the sake of it, to get into SEMA or to get into some big show. I've been to probably 24 car shows in the past 3 years, indoor car shows, and I haven't won a single award, and, no third place, no best in show, no nothing, and I don't care. When the award time comes around, you get the people who are bashing other people's cars because their cars is better, they put more time into their car,
their car
this and that. At the end of the day, they get upset because they didn't get a gold piece of plastic that said they were the best. Who cares about that? I leave the show, driving with my friends, driving all the way home, driving 2-3 hours home with my friends, cruising on the highway, and I think that's what it's all about. I think at the end of the day, it's all about who you meet. If the car you built gets you to meet people who also built cars that way, then, you probably have more common interests than someone who hates your car. So I think the internet's kind of a weird place for that because, like Ty said, everyone's opinionated. Everyone thinks their opinion matters. I love hearing everyone's opinions. If you hate my car, cool. If you like my car, cool. If you don't like any of us as a person, cool. I think at the end of the day, everyone just needs to respect the time and effort and the money invested into, these huge chunks of metal that revolve around in our everyday lives. I don't think anyone should hate anyone over the way they built their car. Me and Ty, and Zach's been definitely reaching into it on the internet. A lot of people commenting and saying, I would have done this differently. I would have do this differently. I would change the color on this. I would have put this motor in there. Blah blah blah. This and that.
Then do
At
it.
the end of the day, it's not your car. It's I built my car the way you wanted. If you're scrolling down Facebook, you don't like my car, keep scrolling. I don't think in the past 5 years I've ever commented on someone's photo saying, I don't like your car. I would change this. I would change that. I would,
I honestly think that I don't follow anyone on Instagram based on their car.
Yeah, everyone on Instagram I follow are people I've met in car shows, people I've talked to, people, people I don't are overseas. They're in Japan, and I'll follow their cars because they're awesome. They don't give a shit. Everyone always fantasizes about living in Japan, and they want the Japan car scene to be over here because everyone gets along. No one gives a shit. If you do something crazy in Japan, no one bashes them. Everyone gives them support. Everyone stands behind them. In America, everyone wants to be like that, but everyone still talks shit. And I think that's like the main problem that lies in the car scene. If you want a community where everyone gets along and everyone can go to a car show and not have any problems, and everyone respect everyone's builds, then you need to do it. You need to not be biased. You need to not hate camber. You need to not hate, 1,200 horsepower. You need to not hate, you know, the car's sitting on the ground. You just need to be open-minded. You need to go into the car shows and car events just respecting everyone's taste. And I don't think the scene will get any better unless that changes.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, and I guess in closing, what Nick does, or what Zach does, or what I do, or what anyone does, isn't directly affecting you. So, why even bitch about it?
Why?
You know what I mean? Did my diffuser fucking fly off and nail your car on the highway because I'm too low? No.
It might.
It's
sorry
not
if it does.
affecting you. It's not affecting you. So, you know, if somebody wants to put fucking, you know, a staggered setup on an RSX, that's a front-wheel drive car. You know what?
Fucking, it fits good. It looks good.
It fits good. Yeah, it looks
I don't
good.
give a
Just
shit.
let them. It's their car. You know what I mean? But guess what? You can fucking go out here and you can track your RSX, or you can drag your RSX with fucking huge ass steamroller tires on the front, and that's not affecting me. And I'm not even talking shit about it. So just let everybody do what they want. And I think that, you know, the sooner people do what they want, the sooner people, you know, realize they can do what they want, and the sooner other people realize that, you know, their opinion is fucking so small scale in the long, you know, great scheme of things. I think that things will, you know, definitely improve.
I think the biggest, now that I finally just actually thought about this, the biggest, I think, difference, or where people are bumping heads in the car scene, is where people say, like, oh, well, you didn't build your car, it doesn't make a lot of power, you didn't twin turbo it, you didn't do this, you didn't do that.
2JZ swap it.
Yeah, you didn't do something that they would have done, whether it be power or aesthetics, and that's where the line is drawn. Some people are power, some people are aesthetics, some people like to mingle with both. One way, there's no right or wrong, it's just what you prefer as a person.
He commented on my build page and he said, hey, you're running VARRSTOENs. And my friend
Was it
texts me
Nick?
and sends me a picture of his fucking, I think Xterra. And he was running fake bead lockers.
Touche.
So, like, go fuck yourself. Honestly, dude, I'm going to say that.
All right, so I think, you know, people look at Ty's car, myself included, they say, you know, that's overall just a cool car. You know, he put a high power motor into a light and nimble track car.
But Nick, it's a heavy engine to the general public, and it's killed the 50-50 weight distribution, and it's a push rod engine. It's data technology. It's not a 2J. It's not the F22. It's a
ruined.
piece of shit. It's ruined.
At the end of the day, Ty doesn't give a shit. That's why I like Ty. A lot of people don't like Ty because he thinks he's cocky, thinks his car's the shit, you know, this and that and the other thing. And at the end of the day, I like Ty because he doesn't give a shit about anyone's opinion. I've been trying to drill into his head for the last 4 years to, you know, even think about buying authentic wheels. And although he never has actually pulled the trigger on it, I almost respect him more for not just going by what other people are telling him to do. At the end of the day, he doesn't care if he has real wheels, and no matter how many people comment on that on his pictures, no matter how many people say that in person, no matter how many people think that his car is less than what it could be with real wheels, he doesn't give a shit. And I think that's what it's about. I think too many people give a shit. I think too many people care about other people's opinions. Not so much people being opinionated. I think it's a matter of, if this person doesn't like your car, you can either take it with a grain of rice, or you can go out and change your entire car based on this person's opinion. And I don't think that's how it should be. You know,
No.
if Zach said, Nick, you know, I don't like the color of your car, you should wrap it
I've
red.
told Nick a ton of times there's things I don't like about his car. I tell Nick every day there's things I don't like about his car. I'm like, yo, like, come on, man. Like, I don't care. I'm like, all right.
Just don't care.
Word.
I just don't care because
Me
it's
either,
Nick's car.
then.
The people that change and follow the trends and don't start trends are the people that I think are ruining the scene, because they're the people that are just, you know, they don't care about their car. They don't care about the way their car looks. They don't care about the way their car drives. You know, they trailer their car to shows to, you know, showcase everyone's products, this and that. At the end of the day, Ty drives his car every single day. Zach drives his car every single day. I don't drive my car every single day. I want to drive my car every single day. So that's why, you know, this next, you know, upcoming season, I'm going to make it a little bit more functional. And I think that's where the line is. You know, there's people running negative 14 degrees camber, and they argue that that's functional. And I think you need to realize, no matter who you are,
That's not functional.
It's
300
not
miles.
functional.
300 miles on a set of tires is not functional.
If you have no problems, if you don't break anything, cool. But at the end of the day, it's just not functional. And it took me a really long time to realize that. You know, I ran a lot of camber last year, mainly to fit the wheels. I didn't really measure out anything with. You know, they luckily fit, but at the end of the day, I just didn't like driving my car. So instead of reading the comments, reading everyone's opinions on how much they like my car, you know, I'm not gonna keep doing that to my car, running a lot of camber so I can't drive it so other people like it. You know, this next season I'm gonna run a lot less camber so I can drive my car every day and make myself happy because I bought this car that should make me happy. So why build it around other people's opinions and comments and what they want to do to it?
The average person probably drives their car, what, 4 to 5 hours a day?
In what world?
If they're traveling to like really far away.
Yeah, like
No, I mean, honestly.
4 to 5
You
hours.
drive a lot.
4 to 5 hours? Honestly,
I drive like
Okay.
10
on a
minutes
Saturday, okay?
I
If you're
drive
not stuck at A+ auto styling all
I've
day.
driven like 45 minutes today so far, so I got 4 hours to go.
Well, I deal the fuck out of my car. And the average person, I think, probably drives their car 4 hours a day. So you should honestly drive something that you like to drive. That you want.
If you're in your
And that you
car,
like.
That statement stands true either way. Yeah, drive whatever you want to drive. If it makes you happy, drive it.
if you're in your car for 5 minutes a day or 3 hours a day, if that 5 minutes gives you a little bit escape from reality and you can feel the car inside of you and it's a car you built to the way you like it, nothing beats that feeling. You know, I think people drive around in cars they don't like and they don't even really care about, and they just fucking... Alright, let me stop talking. I have to pee.
Hella lit. Nick's hella lit. He's hella lit.
Yo, Nick's going off today, dude. I think that one thing I want to do for 2016 will probably be make it slightly more functional. So obviously with the LS1, I'm pushing at this point being, I guess, semi-built, if you really want to call it that, 409 wheel horsepower and 393 torque. Currently, if I'm gunning it or I'm really, getting on it, all I do is spin. So one thing I want to do is I'm going to be upgrading to an R200 differential this winter, thanks to the Inline Pro mounting kit. On top of that, I'm going to run wider wheels, or maybe not so much wider wheels, but wider tires with a lower offset wheel to fit it within the fender. And yeah, I think that's really my main goal right now. Is just to pretty much have all the power that I'm putting out, be able to put it to the ground. That's all I want to do. That's what I will do.
Join us again, sir. I scooted him over so he
Yo,
can
my
have some-
man, sit down.
Hold up.
What are you doing?
I need a little pressure right there real quick. Pressure.